Sorry, guys. I'm not sorry. Here we go. We're gonna rock and roll, and we'll enjoy this growth together. Welcome to Wise Beyond Bitcoin, where you come to, not just wise up on crypto, but learn about the ethical and equitable side of blockchain technology. My name is Lucas.
And my name is Ryan.
I'm Jacob.
And we are shamelessly plugging our still not edited website to be a little DeFi hub to give you great links to other sources. But there is still use, and we're going to show you by just clicking on the metrics section. One of the best premium sites to go to for checking out a market roundup, looking at the market cap, live action prices of cryptocurrencies is nomics.com. It's one of our favorites. They don't seem to have the same bias and issues that you get with other websites like CoinMarketCap, which are owned by Binance, and you get a lot of really misinformation put out there. So it seems to be a little bit more transparent, but shall we start with the market roundup, gentlemen?
Yeah, let's do it.
Anything?
Bitcoin Cash ABC it's the leader of the pack today at 26%, almost 27.
And I'm not too sure about what that is. What stands out to me amongst all these, I know Thorchain.
Yeah, Thorchain.
But really, Elrond seems out of everything in this top 10. I would say Elrond, definitely Chainlink,
Chainlink's the other. Yeah.
Would be some of the stronger ones.
I agree. And then ETH is around 1%, and it's had a good few days. That's another story. We'll get to that in a little bit. But
well, look, if you look at even in the last 24 hours, when Bitcoin went from over 40,000 below to around 39, ETH has held strong and is still growing and is still pushing up above 2,600. So there's definitely strong momentum for Ethereum, and we'll get to why we think a lot of that is coming up. I mean, there's a lot of reasons, but definitely
hard fork.
Yeah.
Yes, the hard fork's coming.
The Berlin.
It's already gone up to 2%, over 2%. It was 1% when I looked at it just about an hour ago. So
it's definitely strong. And yeah, there's a lot of beautiful things to announce and talk about what's going on with Ethereum and DeFi. So shucks, is there any more major stuff popping out of the market that you guys? I mean, we're
Bitcoin coming down a little bit from what 42.
Did it go to 42? 40.
Yeah, it was in the 40. It was mid 40s, and now it's
below 40.
Below 40, so that's a mild. But it had a massive run up, so to have a little money profit taking off the table, that's expected, right?
Sure.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, it hit. Let me see the top. No, it only hit 40. Let me see. No, 42,000.
Right.
Was the peak on the 30th. So a few days ago.
But they're still consolidating in that belt, in that range. Yep. We still Bitcoin, would take a 50% move to take it close to its all-time highs around 60,000 plus, and Ethereum is still just maybe it's around 50% of its all-time high. Oh no, it didn't reach 5,000. It was 40 something, right? So a little over. Yeah. Right. But there's still a lot of movement for these to go. And how long is it going to take? I don't know that it's going to be a one-way trip up. There's a couple different models. I mean, there's more than two, but some of the main theories are that we're going to get this kind of consolidation and slow push up to kind of like a close to 100K
by the end of the year.
By the end of the year before consolidating. Other people are saying, hey, you know what? And there's a good chance that Bitcoin and Ethereum are going to test new lows before making this run up. That it's not just so that it's going to be another push down before.
Maybe some sideways consolidation period.
I can see that. I mean, of course, we've seen these things swing. The volatility in cryptocurrency, you should be able to see 80%.
So I think to some degree it'll kind of hinge on what happens with the broader economy, right? With the dollar and with the traditional financial markets.
Absolutely, this is contingent upon the health of the and with other issues going on in the world economy, that can absolutely affect the digital. I mean, they're not decoupled.
No.
So let's get into some of that news.
And getting into that coupling is this article right here.
Yeah, let's get right into it.
Yeah. So this is. Before we get into the details of whatever this regulation entails, I would say we've seen the warning, we've seen the smoke signals that something was coming along these lines, right? There's been lots of comments on the part of Janet Yellen, different people at the Fed. There's been comments on the part of Elizabeth Warren about regulation, and there's been a lot of talk about the free banking era and how stable coins are this dangerous, return to some kind of unregulated, panic-driven sort of nightmare, right? If you're a planner kind of scenario. So there's been some fear mongering, I guess would be the word, about specifically about stable coins, but about crypto in general. So no surprise that this is, that people are shocked, because you haven't been paying attention. This is definitely coming.
Sure.
So what is it? It's a bill, and it's not law yet, but it's a bill that would essentially give the Treasury Secretary veto power over the creation of new stablecoins, and it would create a set of rules to define DeFi, decentralized finance, and it would also potentially create a charter for crypto exchanges, and also it would more bring clarity into how the regulators define what status certain cryptos have, whether they're securities, whether they're commodities, and how they'll be taxed differently depending on that status. So this is all about regulatory clarity is the idea here. Now, whether or not this becomes law, that remains to be seen. But it definitely has the attention of a lot of people in the crypto community. I think there's a link in this article to a number of, here it says, it appears to have been thoroughly researched, even if certain provisions rankled crypto supporters. And then there's a link to the rankled supporters in their comments. So if you want to go deeper. But this is essentially what this is about, is getting more information about who's buying what, who's trading what, who's holding what, and shutting down these decentralized avenues for making these investments anonymously, right? This is all about KYC across the board, not just at a few exchanges, but bringing it to DeFi.
So this is a bill that would allow the Treasury Secretary to become involved in these rules. But the question is this is U.S. lawmakers, and how will this influence, the flow of digital assets to other borders and other countries that are more friendly or that have less stringent regulations, which we'll get to later on. This could even...
It also could influence how people hold and keep their currencies, their cryptocurrencies, whether they keep them on exchanges or even decentralized exchanges, or whether or not they go into cold storage, into more wallets. Right, so it could shape the pattern of holding assets, and then a new kind of wallet to wallet sort of DeFi squared. Meta DeFi might have to emerge in order to combat this sort of thing. But yeah, it's interesting.
Very cool.
Well, I think something that's interesting to be said about that is how they could actually govern on the blockchain. It'll be interesting.
Yeah, working out the kinks, working out the actual logistics because it's one thing to say we want to know X, Y, and Z for every transaction over this amount, and we want to have KYC on all these indexes, and it's one thing to say that and make a law that says that, but it's another to actually implement it and have it be effective, right? And I think that's what's going to hold back this from happening immediately or imminently.
Well, you have public ledgers, you create a task force, you get the computer, the technicals to monitor and to track, and they've got the KYC AML information through many institutions already. So it's really just about taking the time to enforce it and send out. Right. I mean, it seems almost that in some ways this technology was made for this. Right. It was made. It was tailor made for this, but there's other ways in which people are supporting, such as ourselves, the use and the growth of this technology in sectors to make it a more equitable, ethical, decentralized playing field, and to help change the market in those ways. But I did shoot us on to the next article because I think we covered that pretty well, and the one that you brought up on the movement on Bitcoin's balance sheets and what's been going on with that.
Oh, the balances on exchanges, yeah.
Yep.
This is a good one. So historically, in the markets, in the past, you've been able to look at outflows from exchanges as being unambiguously bullish, right? There's been rallies associated with it. And this article gets into the details of how it's possible that there's times when you see outflows, it's the metrics are not focusing on the inter-exchange movement from one wallet to another, or even from one exchange to another, right? So, like for example, there was a report that a large amount of Bitcoin had been moved, and it said, we could find the part where it talks about it. Anyway, I don't need to get the details, but it basically said that they thought it was a off-exchange movement, but really what happened was it had been moved from one wallet to another inside of an exchange. And so it was like there's this data that's difficult to get clear signals from because of how complicated and how much more how many more exchanges, how many more wallets, whales, holders of all sizes. It just complicates the pictures to know really with one variable what's actually going on. So the idea that you can just use basic exchange outflows as a one-to-one guide to price behavior in the future is no longer holds, according to this article. But then they say, but it's still bullish on the whole when you get into the details.
I think, and then here's a part of that. A research lead at blockchain data firm Kaiko said that while it's easy to tell which addresses belong to an exchange, many more entities, such as over-the-counter desks and brokers associated with the exchanges, are receiving lots of Bitcoin. Thus, it's difficult to actually measure an exchange outflow because these transfers very well could just be being sent to other exchanges or trading desks, or simply between addresses on the same exchange, which that happens on many exchanges too, which is a problem. Fake volume on exchanges. Right. But
that was better explained than I did, but that was what I got out of it, was that these metrics are not as unambiguously clear as they were in the past when these things were simpler.
We're going to move to did we cover that pretty well, you think?
Yeah, I think that covers it.
Now, there was one thing from the market. Oh, look, and it's already changed, right? I think it's because we're doing our stream, as we're talking, it's starting to turn the tides. It's in our title. We're going to get to Ethereum has done extremely well. Look at how it's doing, it's surging along with NFTs. We're going to get to here in a second. But I didn't even click on the HEX chart, which if you'd like to look at the best performing crypto asset in the last year, what that chart would look like, that's about it right there.
That's one right there. Yeah, that's beautiful.
That's one, and this is hats off to Richard Hart and the HEX community. Pardon me. It was actually that design, being a part of that, which brought me to Wise Token and the Wise community. So I'm happy to be a member of both, but it's beautiful to see what's been accomplished there. And it's just been a phenomenal year for the HEX community. And I say that because it's not stopped there. There's some really exciting news to talk about. Pulsechain, which is an Ethereum fork. Just like Matic is a fork of Ethereum, just like Binance Smart Chain is a fork of Ethereum, Pulsechain is a more secure, decentralized, complete, it's a robust fork of Ethereum that is just a better, more efficient, and faster version of these others. So, and you guys like airdrops? Anybody? Anybody? Anyone
doesn't like free things?
Does anybody remember the big Uniswap airdrop among many others in cryptocurrency over the last year in 2020? And well, there's some really brilliant economics. There's just tokenomics, whatever you want to call it. There's a brilliant design behind Pulsechain, but as a fork and as a copy to grow its community, they're actually going to offer people a free. You have to own the private keys on your MetaMask wallet or your Ethereum wallet, not from an exchange. But when it drops the next week, whatever you have on that wallet through the ERC20s that are supported, Aave, your Wise token, your whatever, will be copied, and you will automatically have it on the Pulsechain. But you have 30 days to claim it. If you don't claim it, it goes away.
So that'll be like P Wise, P
P-Wise, P HEX.
Pmatic,
So he's not.
whatever,
It's not just to get, like, people have to be involved. They have to be a part of it, and if they are, then they can, benefit from helping grow value. But this has huge implications for bridging other applications. And I know that the HEX contract is copied for stakers over onto this chain. And I definitely want to get a hold of Devin and Peter and the team and see to it that they reach out. And maybe it's automatic. I don't know, because the technical side isn't my strong suit on that. But it should be to where, because I know they're supporting a lot of Wise Token is already one of the ERC20s. But that they are also coming out with a Uniswap V2 on Pulsechain. So if there was a PWise that mirrored the locked liquidity, that would be freaking awesome too. So I would really love, because I'll tell you why. There's a lot of similarities between how the smart contracts work for Wise and Hex. I mean, Hex has its benefits with Richard or whoever controls it to be able to grow it, and then Wise has the massive ownerless locked liquidity that's locked on a decentralized exchange, Uniswap. So having a P version of that on a Ethereum fork that's designed for DeFi. And that's what I was going to get into. How many people have gotten involved in Ethereum and actually tried to use it for DeFi and smart contract applications and were completely shut down because of how expensive the gas fees were? And that's the brilliance. So,
that's actually a good segue into our next article.
Standing on the shoulders of those giants that come before. I know I'm kind of getting ahead, so I'll stop, take a break, and let's get to this article.
So yeah, Jacob already kind of hinted what's driving the 12-day winning streak that ETH has had. It's this upcoming London hard fork, which is going to retool how the fees are handled, right? Burning a fraction and tipping the ETH balance towards what, deflationary tokenomics, right? Is that the best way to describe it?
Yep.
Deflationary tokenomics, and it's also improving on the overall structure of the chain, in my opinion. But yeah, a whole lot of things that aren't factored in.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's definitely been bullish. It's outperforming most other investments over the last few days.
As we speak.
And as we speak, it's doing even better today. So yeah, I think I do believe that this is going to be big for ETH. Because of it, reducing the gas fees is really the main thing that's keeping this from just becoming the premier crypto, because of all the DeFi applications and what you can do with it.
This will help, but there's still going to be a long ways to substantially reduce gas fees, and that's why you'll still have a benefit to Matic, Polygon, Binance, these other second layer solutions. But this is definitely a step in the right direction for Ethereum. What was that?
Oh, I was just agreeing with you.
Right on, brother. What's the
Square?
Hello.
Afterpay. This is a good one.
This is huge.
So I heard about Afterpay a few weeks ago, and I don't know if everybody's not familiar with it. Afterpay allows you to buy things essentially on credit without paying interest. They're a company that they give you a 4-payment. You have 4 payments you have to make, right? And you have 2 months, and so it's every 2 weeks you make a payment. And if you don't miss the payment, there's no late fees or anything, and there's no interest. So it's essentially a 0% interest loan for 2 months. And they're teaming up with. They've been acquired by Square, and so this is integrating their network with Square's network. And as you know, you can buy Bitcoin on Square. So now you will be able to buy Bitcoin through Afterpay, which means that if you're wanting to take a chance on your hunch that Bitcoin is going to go up the next few months, this would be a way to buy it with a 0% loan, which that could be an interesting trade.
Nothing we're saying here obviously is financial advice, and this is all educational and informational purposes, entertainment purposes. However, that's definitely an opportunity that many people will take advantage of and to use. I mean, it's a way of kind of playing the market without
By dollar, you could dollar cost. It'd be a way to dollar cost average on over a 2-month period, right?
Sure.
Without having to come up with the money at any one moment. Just have, if you get paid every 2 weeks, you could, take, if you find, here's what I think. All right, you're sitting there and Bitcoin drops. This happens fast. These candles, they drop down and it's a massive correction, right? It happens in the wee hours, or it happens whenever. If you don't have the money to make the full play you want, but it's a short-term opportunity, this would be a way to take a position and pay for it over the next couple months, right?
Oh yeah.
So that's cool. And it's the real part of this is just it's expanding crypto into the broader ecosystem of it's integrating traditional finance and Bitcoin in a way that makes it easy for people to onboard. It's all about onboarding.
That's the biggest news, is it's opening another floodgate for adoption. It's a new, and that's what we're seeing the last year has really just been institutional acceptance and more avenues for people to jump into cryptocurrency. That's what I love about Elrond, HEX. There's some of these that have just direct fiat gateways directly into their crypto, to their chain, and that speeds up adoption. This for Bitcoin, I'm curious when Square will start, or even with PayPal, instead of being Bitcoin, will maybe PayPal already does it actually, but Square start talking about Ethereum or other cryptos as well instead of just Bitcoin. But
it's true.
But it's great to be able to get into Bitcoin. I mean, that is the ring that binds them all.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
In a sense.
And speaking of Bitcoin, that's a good segue.
Speaking of
Bitcoin-centric story.
Speaking of Bitcoin.
This is an optimistic article. I thought a good one. Bank of America is discussing the potential financial economic impact of El Salvador adopting Bitcoin as a dual legal tender. And not to get too technical, it talks about how big of a fraction of the total economy remittances are. This is when people living outside of El Salvador, working largely in the United States or other places, work, and then they send their money back to their home where they can help their family out, right? and by the use of intermediaries who exchange one currency into another and facilitate that financial transaction, there's a massive cost of it. There's a fee. There's lots of fees involved, and that the transaction costs can be significant. And when you're talking about millions and millions of dollars, it can be very significant. And through the use of Bitcoin, they're seeing that even as expensive it is to do a proof of work transaction on a clunky chain, it's still far cheaper than it is to pay these transaction costs to these intermediaries. So that's the big top line boost to their economy, is reducing those costs, those fees. And then there's talk of bringing in direct and foreign investment. Foreign direct investment flows into El Salvador for mining, ATMs, and other crypto related investments in companies.
Yeah, apparently they just started 1,500 Bitcoin ATMs. They just started installing in the country.
Yes.
And
the fact they have a lot of volcanoes.
Yes.
They're looking to create an emission-free energy source to power the mining infrastructure. That sounds interesting.
The old volcano miner.
Yeah. Hasn't there been a James Bond movie about that or something? No.
If not yet. Not yet. Yeah. Yeah, this is, El Salvador continues to pave the way and pioneer innovation in finance, innovation in crypto. It'd be interesting to see how many people physically go to El Salvador because of its innovation, its innovative laws, or its more open, view towards cryptocurrency in general.
I definitely want to take a trip out there at least.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
See about dual citizenship.
I like
dual legal tender.
I like the Bitcoin. I like the Bitcoin inside of the pyramid for there. Yeah, that's hilarious.
That is hilarious. I didn't notice that. Now that you mention it, yeah. That too. It's pretty funny.
Yeah, I mean this is just a made up graphic, I'm sure, but it's still funny.
Yeah.
Well done, whoever did that for Bitcoin Magazine. Well done.
Right. Oh man. Oh yeah. So NFTs are back in the news, right? They've had a good week.
And NFTs will remain in the news. Let me get over here and get to our next article. Boom.
I think Jacob has something to say about this, but before we get into his insights, this article talks about OpenSea and how it's had a record-breaking weekly volume. Went last Saturday was 35 million, and then Sunday was 49 million traded on just this daily trading volume. So
did it say? Okay, it was on OpenSea, but I wonder what was what were the main NFTs or what was the drive?
It goes through. The CryptoPunks was one of the big ones.
Okay.
Board Ape Yacht Club.
CryptoPunks and Board Ape Yacht Club, which are some of the bigger. Okay, so they're moving around again, and I know that Wise Token and Jacob's got some really cool news to talk about NFTs and what you can do with things like CryptoPunks and stuff. So that is perfect. And I'm gonna do a quick shameless. Okay, go ahead. Talk about Marvel. Talk about Marvel.
Big name. I think this is one of the things that kind of switched the narrative on it. Is Marvel?
Here we go.
Marvel's coming into the space on a big way, and they're very popular. So it just shows you that once the like sports franchises get involved and Marvel, it's like, okay, the sky's the limit on this.
It's just a matter of time. I mean, for those of us who understand NFTs work and we're children who had baseball cards or comic books growing up, then once you understand how NFTs work, you recognize that, it's just a matter of time. It's literally just a matter of time before the rarity and the joy that people got from collectibles in those fields are going to be put on the blockchain to everyone's benefit in a way. So that's beautiful. That's great news. And I will do a quick shameless plug. OpenSea. Oh, okay, here's CryptoPunks, OpenSea. Let me see if I can just go to the OpenSea actual main website. Okay, there we go. And of course, this is where you can go to OpenSea and you can look up. It's a big open, transparent marketplace to see every NFT on the Ethereum blockchain. You could type in someone's account and see what NFTs they have under that. You could check your own account, see what NFTs. You could check the Board Ape Yacht Club. You could find the name of a group. And my shameless whoops, my shame
Apocalypse art.
Yep, here we go. Art. There we go. Bam. Apocalypse Art Club. I love it, and we'll have more information to share about what they're doing. But, there's some growing communities that are about using blockchain technology and NFTs to make the world a place, to promote charity and mutual aid groups. So, people who have been also, if you like art, been making beautiful art for a long time.
Yeah, I love how NFTs marry together, art and finance
and owning
charity.
Owning an NFT, not only the value of the NFT, there are many things that you can use to get involved with DeFi, which Jacob's going to be talking about in a minute. But many of these different clubs, like the Board Ape Yacht Club, one of the major ones, and these others, having one of these NFTs, you're part of a community that allows you access to other benefits. And to know about those other benefits, you're definitely going to want to have to go check out the actual website at apocalypseartclub.com. We'll do a more in-depth view on that later. But yep, OpenSea, you can check them all out. This is just beautiful art. I'm biased. I'm a supporter of Jeff's work and what he's got going on. So I'll continue to share the love and play. I'm not going to play it now. I'll play it later. All right, let's move on to the next one. Whoops.
Oh yeah, so this is a good, interesting article. So Hillstone is Hillstone is a company that's looking to bring accredited, the kind of investments that are limited to accredited investors, people who've got over $1 million, who make over a few $100,000 a year, and meet these SEC standards, right? They're looking to bring those investments, the venture capitalist style investments that we can't get into as commoners, and they're looking to bring those to the average person, anybody, using a smart contract and a DeFi blockchain based ecosystem investment portal. So this is really cool. So yeah, if you've ever heard of people making massive returns on buying like Snapchat IPO or various other IPOs, and well, how can I get into that? I want to make those kind of returns. Well, you can't. You're frozen out unless you're an accredited investor. There's legal barriers to you entering in those markets, and it's all sold as being for your own interest and your own good, so you don't make a stupid decision and lose all your money as a mortgage your house and make a bad decision.
Sure.
But on another level, it could be seen as kind of like a gatekeeping tool to kind of keep the big gains for the chosen few. So this company is looking to disrupt that, and they're launching a project which brings these same investments to your hands, so you can get in, and they're also marrying it with their knowledge. So they're gonna essentially provide the expertise that they have about the geographical or legal or whatever conditions are relevant to knowing about this investment, and they're providing their expertise as well. So it's not just a matter of having the ability to buy something, but they're going to help us kind of.
It's educational. It's actually helping educate and onboard people that are in traditional finance to more high risky cryptocurrency investments. This is huge.
Yeah, it's very cool.
Huge, I say.
And what's the next story? Oh, the next one's kind of related. It's about institutions.
Let's talk about institutions.
Institutions staking ETH 2.0. That's the story here. And there's a company that just came about last year in London called Launch Nodes, and they're making it possible for people who don't have 32 ETH, because that's what you need to be a validator node. They're making it possible for people to join one of their pools. Speaking of barriers to entry. Yeah, another barrier to entry, yeah. And you join one of their pools, and you can get all the benefits of being a validator node without having to have 32 ETH. So the article goes on to talk about how institutions like pension funds and charities are looking to stake ETH 2.0. And because of the fact they're guaranteed a yield, when bond yields in treasuries and in private and corporate bonds are historically low, and people predict tend to go lower. So negative annual yields in pension funds are already resulting, market's not going to tolerate that. So there's a search for yield, but there's also concern for risks. Pension funds are notoriously risk adverse. That's why they're not just plowing their money into equities and stocks. They tend to like bonds. They like staking, as it were, in the traditional financial world. And so now they have their eye on staking ETH, because it's a place where they can lock up money over time and get a guaranteed return on it. And even though there's an underlying risk in the value of ETH going down over the period, they're still locked in with a guaranteed yield. And if you're bullish on ETH long run, then that sounds like an attractive investment. Absolutely. So yeah, that's what's going on here. That's big news, and it's also, it's a good segue into the next article, but it's also a good understanding that the development of these smart contract platforms, these blockchains, is taking a long time. And we talked about EIP 1599 helping with gas fees. Not so much to help with gas fees, but definitely helping the network a bit in the interim. But it's not the solution. And the staking ETH 2.0 is still a ways away, and it's right. And so, but while that's a precursor to what we have coming up. That is, but although it's a ways away, you can look at the underlying support. I mean, we're talking about pension funds, institutional investment, and that's the overall look at cryptocurrency, the digital market, is that this is a young economy that's just emerging, and there's room for many platforms. There's room for multiple chains, because the transactions per second, the amount of people that are still, the amount of information that still needs to be uploaded onto blockchains for different sectors of the economy is so great that there definitely isn't a chain to sustain it all at the moment. Exactly. As I understand it. It's going to take all and then some, right? Oh, yeah. But
Talk.
Oh yeah, this
Yeah.
article's great.
Yeah.
This article's great. So yeah, MEV. This stands for miner extracted value, and this is something we've mentioned a few times, but I don't know if we haven't talked about it, and if you haven't heard about it, we'll go over it briefly. And so, what miner extracted value is essentially a practice that where miners reorder. Well, they paid to order a transaction in such a way as the way they can front run or back run trades. Which this basically means is that they're able, before a block is minted and your trades are essentially made permanent in a certain order, there's a way for people to bid the gas prices up and essentially bribe their way to rearranging the order flow such that it privileges some and harms others. And what's the result of this is that you will end up getting less of fewer satoshis or fewer whatever it is you're buying than units of your currency than you would have thought. Right? It's taking the slippage problem and kind of hacking it to make it even worse. But it's deceptive because it's kind of like a hidden tax that's been snuck into the exchange. And this article is great because it gets into discussing how this problem is not something inherent just in ETH or in crypto. It's actually a capital markets problem in general. But that there's this price that people pay, and as it were, for liquidity, and to have a liquid market, there is going to be some front running that occurs on the part of arbitrageurs and brokers and exchanges. That's just kind of inherent in what's going on here. But it's not that we should just tolerate any amount of it. There's ways of considering how to reduce it and limit it. But just to get rid of it outright is probably not realistic. And then it further talks about how I believe in here that they're thinking about regulatory solutions are probably not the way to go because this issue is so complicated that looking for a technological and entrepreneurial fix is probably the best bet. And it even lists a couple examples of projects looking to do that, like Amidst X is one, and there's others as well.
Mist X, haven't heard that name in a while.
Yeah, that's an older one.
Very cool.
So yeah, that's an in-depth take, kind of deep dive on to this issue. And if it's interesting, I'd click on the article and read on further because there's a lot of meat in this article, and it's hard to touch on it all.
Which one are you talking about?
The miner extracted value.
This one?
Harms Ethereum users. Yeah, that's it.
Is that the one?
Yeah, that's the article, or the whole thing you're on. You're at the bottom of it.
Oh yeah. This article. No, I'll link it.
Yeah.
I'll link it in the description below for sure. I thought there was a link to another article from this.
Nope. Just that general article.
Rock on.
Yeah, it was information rich.
Definitely, this is a good one. Understanding how it's not just with Ethereum. This is how the technology works.
It's even with the problem with Bitcoin. It gets into that, but it's not as big of the scope of it is minimized with Bitcoin.
I wonder how it's going to work with the smart contract solutions being layered on Bitcoin, but that's a whole nother story.
Right, it's a different story.
What else is also a whole nother story?
And that's a good segue into this article about this company called Atomic Finance. They were developing on the Ethereum network. They were looking to build a bridge to other chains. They were in the DeFi world. They were deep in it.
Right.
And they started, the more they were innovating and developing, they realized that there was a few issues with the Ethereum based DeFi sector that turned them off and led them to look outside of ETH into developing on Bitcoin. And it was essentially surrounding centralization. They said that there's the nodes. The Ethereum validator nodes are too centralized, and then when you look at other chains like Binance Smart Chain, it's even worse. So that was one issue. Then with Solidity, they had issues with that. Let me get to the section. They had problems with Solidity itself that they were concerned about. Standards, certain security standards security risks inherent in the code that they weren't happy about, that led them to look to a Bitcoin. So there's a good quote here that kind of sums it up in the article. Oh yeah, here it is. Taking sound money and slapping unsound financial infrastructure on top bringing it into the Jenga tower that is ETH DeFi, and continuing to build in the ETH DeFi space would have likely forced us to launch our own token in order to compete. And there's nothing that screams unsound money and unsound financial infrastructure than the rampant printing of money. So, whether or not that's a good point, I think remains to be seen. Because the rampant printing of money is definitely not a good thing, but you have to put it in context. It's what's the demand for money. And if you're looking at just printing units of fiat when the demand's not changing, then yeah, that's problematic. But if you're looking at the evolution of a whole new monetary space where these new units of money are actually innovative and serving a function and
Provide
adding
liquidity.
value,
Yeah.
they're providing liquidity, or they're helping to fund financial services like DeFi bonds or loans or whatever, right? Then the demand there's demand for those things, right? So it's not like some kind of debasing situation where you're just shaving the corners off of a coin, right? And that's definitely there needs to be a distinction between debasing currency and producing currency that's in demand and it's facing a market test. That's the key. Does it pass the market test? And I feel like this quote about the rampant printing of money doesn't really capture those nuances.
Speaking of capturing those nuances and leaving the Jenga tower nature of ETH DeFi, this, I think, is a sweet little segue back to what I was talking about earlier. We talked about the success of the HEX project as one of the most in ERC20 tokens, actually cryptocurrencies in the last couple years. Well, Richard Hart, if you're not already a subscriber and following and you want to learn more about cryptocurrency, that's an invaluable resource of information. So I'd recommend subscribing and listening to his interviews and videos. While they may be long, they're full of valuable information and worth. And actually, I'll link this below, but I recommend, this is a recent interview with Kyle Chase. And he's actually the founder of Paid Network and many other DeFi protocols that are being built in Polkadot and in other arenas. So he is a developer like Peter of Wise Token or other people who has a foundation or has a need for looking for DeFi solutions on other chains. He's part of a project, part of a project in crypto. And this is just a great interview. What's great about Richard is I don't know if in this interview or another one, but he actually, I think it was with Omar from Crypto, another great old timer. But he really breaks down how loans in traditional finance and the traditional monetary system works in a way that usually isn't talked about or understood just from a crypto perspective. Understanding blockchain and crypto doesn't mean that you understand some of the nuances of traditional finance as well. Even if you understand the benefits of the decentralized nature of crypto, there are still a lot of nuances to money mechanics that aren't
widely known.
No. Yeah. And one of that was his understanding that when people put money in the bank, that the bank actually counts that as a liability, and where that comes from. And so,
not an asset, right?
Exactly, and how loans are made and what they are categorized. So it's when you understand, you learn a lot from them. They have a lot of rich understanding, not just of crypto, blockchain, but of the markets in general. That is definitely a good sign. That's definitely a good sign of what their understanding of where the needs are, the problems in markets, and how to solve it. And I think that has a lot to do with HEX, and it also is why I'm so bullish on Pulsechain as a solution for DeFi and cryptocurrency projects like HEX, like Wise Token, like many others, Paid Network, because and this last article that you just a recent one we just talked about, talking about ETH, the leaving the DeFi jungle. Well,
right.
it talks about Vitalik, how centralized is Ethereum, and with Vitalik being at the center of it, and we also understand how the servers, the
They had
AWS
that
servers,
rollback. Remember that rollback that
which
was a few years ago
that's where
when there was
Ethereum Classic even was born from.
that's when that fork happened. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
right.
So, but if you're part of the HEX or Wise Token community or other DeFi project on Ethereum, you've been shut out because gas fees have been so high, not just for sending Ethereum, but for actually operating smart contracts on the chain have become so expensive that people have not been able to, it's just been defunct. And you know, Hex and the community, what they've done, the value they built on the Ethereum chain, he basically shut out a huge section of users of Ethereum just to secure the blockchain. Well, obviously, Richard having a protocol that was directly affected by this had already been in the works of working and building something. But that's basically, from what I understand, what Pulsechain was born from, an actual seeing that there was an actual need for cryptocurrencies to operate DeFi. And actually, Pulsechain is considered to be a place for free speech and to allow, we are all about cryptocurrency, blockchain that's ethical, that's equitable, that's truly trying to decentralize and empower people to be their own bank. I mean, that was one of the other things I love. This is a Bitcoin. Oh, this is one of the OGs. He was a Bitcoin maximalist. Then was like, oh, straight up, I understand more about Ethereum and see value. So
he forked ETH and he's creating like a DeFi ecosystem that would be essentially taking the ETH 2.0 framework and just getting there quicker. Is that correct?
yeah. So Binance Smart Chain is an Ethereum fork. And Matic is also an Ethereum fork. That's how these layer 2 solutions work. They fork Ethereum and they make small changes to how they can speed up transactions in a more centralized manner off chain.
Yeah, they all use the Ethereum virtual machine as like their base.
Right. Mm-hmm. And so this is done in the same manner. It's changed the validating design a little bit different. He's got.
You want to go into that because I found that interesting.
So Pulsechain will have 33 validators, but it's liquid, so it's the top addresses that hold the most that choose to validate. They become the 33 validators. If one slips off and someone else gains more, then they jump in to the top 33 spots. So it's not controlled or owned. It's dynamic. It's liquid based upon the balance in the address at the time. What else? These are just this is brand new. It's just coming out. But here's the big news. Here's what I need to get to, the big news. I need to get to airdrops, you guys. I need to talk about why you should learn about it for yourself right now and not miss out on what could be one of the greatest opportunities in cryptocurrency in a long time. Uniswap gave free money to people just because they used the platform, and they were just given Uniswap tokens that have real value, exchangeable for Bitcoin, Ethereum, or anything else. Pulsechain is the way it's designed. When it launches in a few days, within the week, when it launches, everyone who has a MetaMask wallet already, you already have your Ethereum wallet, you just click on over to Pulsechain, and all of your ERC20, not all of them, but most of them that are supported by the Pulsechain already, Aave, Yearn, Wise Token, Hex, all these others, you'll automatically have your balance on the Pulsechain. So that's why I say message out to Wise Token community, message out to all the members of these different, get out there and go claim your free Pulsechain tokens. Go claim them.
And what do you have to do? You have to move them an original wallet.
You have to move them to a different wallet within 30 days. That's what this is all about. So
they'll be gone.
Or else they'll disappear. So it's not some in perpetuity gift, and that's some of the value. Some people can't dump the price later because they're holding on to some huge bags they didn't claim, like you saw happening with Bitcoin Cash or others. So this is literally, you have a small window, and if you're a member, if you see value in the community and you want to be a part of it, then you can go in and physically send whatever you have to a new address within 30 days. So you'll have that address that's already yours. Click on over. Um, you know how to switch the chain, Shucks. I can't do it right now on stream.
We'll do a how-to video.
We'll do a how-to, but all you're going to do is click on over to Pulsechain from your MetaMask wallet, where you can select the network. And when you collect that chain, it will automatically show all of your assets. What you need to do is send them out of that wallet into a new Ethereum wallet within 30 days, or else they will be taken back and disappear. They're like the note that
so
blows
you just
up.
start a new wallet in your MetaMask on the Pulse network, right?
Yep. Yes.
And then send those
Transfer
tokens to that new address.
Exactly.
And you'll be good.
Yes. And then you will have them you will have them on the chain. It won't be taken back from you.
That's simple enough.
Simple enough. So I'm really excited about from what I learned and what I understand about Pulsechain. There's a lot of donations sent to the sends.
Now we should clarify that what we're talking about is not a sacrifice. These are different things.
Oh, these are different things, right? So what you can also do to support free speech, if you like to do that. Let's see if it's in our goals. No, shucks, it's not going to have it here. It's on a different website. But if you'd like to support free speech on the blockchain, which is one of the main tenets of Pulsechain, you can sacrifice crypto to Pulse right now. And let me click on it. I've been having issues. I don't know if they're having issues right now. It worked a couple days ago, but at the moment I cannot connect my wallet or select a network. So if this is the site's temporarily down, generally speaking, you come over here, you connect your wallet, you'll select Ethereum if you want to sacrifice Ethereum or an ERC20 token, or you can select Avalanche. You can select a different network, EOS, and you can actually sacrifice some digital assets from different chains. Now, what you do in the sacrifice is you will earn points. And that point system, which I'm not even going to try to get into right now, you'll be ranked based upon how much the value of what you sacrificed in a few days when it ends. You'll be ranked on a point system that will be like the original founders, not found, you're not a founder, but like, when people buy a brick on a sidewalk in a building, like they're early supporters, so you're just kind of, your address will be labeled as an early supporter and on a list of addresses that sacrificed, and you may, being on that list, be eligible for airdrops and gifts down the road. I think that is potential and is talked about as bonuses, but there's nothing of promised value. It's just a sacrifice to go to the chain, and yeah.
I wonder, is this considered to be like a charitable act?
It is.
The sacrifice?
The sacrifice is considered to be a charitable act. You're not getting anything in return. You are just burning and you are sacrificing for charity. And that's one of the really neat things about the structure. Richard Hart, I mean, you listen to him, he's brilliant in why he designs things the way he does. There's a reason for it. And, if you were to give someone for sacrificing something, well, then now it's exchange and now it could be taxable. Now you look at the value. But if it's literally just a sacrifice, then that is what it is. It's a gift. It's a donation without any expectation.
That's very cool.
So that's definitely something worth looking at, as well as what they're doing to donate money to longevity, health research, and science. A mutual aid group is tied to this work. Richard. That's what has been one of his big pushes is living a longer life and how to do it using science and technology to help live a longer, healthier life. So it's great to be able to use crypto to focus on supporting those things that maybe, instead of just the cancer research and AIDS research and those things that aren't really about a higher quality of living, and they're just about giving people who are going through terminal illness an easier way sometimes.
It makes me think. It's like, there will be values that are maximized or pursued as a consequence of which financial system or monetary unit you use, right? there's like effects of it. You can stay in the fiat world, and there will be other ripples that come from that, right? Money flows that go from one thing to another, and you fund things indirectly. But this is the same way. You in the blockchain world, but it becomes more intentional. You get to pick out and kind of live your values instead of inadvertently funding prisons or wars or whatever. This is a way to be more specific and intend to, and instead of being held hostage to the bad effects of which monetary system you choose. Now you can be intentional and actually have good things come out of the actual just using an asset as whether it's money or an investment or whatever. And I like that flip from negative to positive.
I love it. I dig it. That's what it's all about. This is Pulse-chain.com is a major information. Pulsechain, HEX, cryptocurrency news, another valuable resource if you want to learn more about it. We'll leave the links below. What else? Man, I wish I could connect the wallet and
Is there any wise news we want to touch on?
Oh no, we're not done yet. We're going to that next. Also, real quick, before we go to that, this is hilarious.
This is well, we always talk about shit coins. So
yeah. Jacob, come on. You
right,
found this, brother.
All right. So we gotta love shit coins here. Gotta love shit coins. South Korea is allowing toilets to turn your shit into power that's used to power buildings, and you're getting paid in cryptocurrency. And now from my understanding, they've implemented this. An engineer from a university has implemented this within his own school. From my understanding, I've tried to do some research on more about this blockchain. It might be a privacy blockchain because I really can't find much information on it other than just repeating articles. But it would be very interesting to have that be a solution, not only for issues like global climate change, also with power. And on average, a person defecates about 500 grams a day, which can be used to create 50 liters of methane gas, which is an environmentally friendly way that we can create electricity. So this is a way for us to combat global climate change while making money. It blows my mind.
I love it.
The blockchain solutions that are out there.
I remember seeing in permaculture sustainable land design setups, especially like in Central America and other countries where there's not as much regulation, but the technology of being able to capture black water, black waste, and convert it into methane gas to light a propane stove. I mean a gas stove. It has actually been around. It's a beautiful technology. Seeing this used for cryptocurrency is hilarious, is awesome. And it also reminds me, have y'all heard about the technology of actually putting little water wheels instead of plumbing, so that every time you flush your toilet or every time you run your shower, that it could be spinning a water wheel and actually powering a bank of batteries that could support your home or electricity. So there are many things that could be done in the future that would provide massive amounts of efficiency gains in recapturing wasted energy just from every time water is being flushed and going downhill.
I saw something along those lines that there's in Japan, the toilets have sinks built into the tops, so when you wash your hands, that gray water then becomes
perfect.
It refills the toilet bowl.
Perfect.
Use.
Perfect.
So and they cut down like a massive amount on their water usage that way. So yeah, all these kinds of things are going to be necessary going forward, I think.
That's a good article. I dig it. That's hilarious. And and with that, I think we shall run over. Let me stop to the. I have a little. There we go. Boom. Let's go to this. Jacob, I got a couple tweets up that I want you to talk to us about.
So one of the interesting things is Wise Token just made an announcement earlier today that they're going to allow you to liquefy your NFTs. So you're going to be able to use your NFTs as collateral for a loan at full market value.
Oh, wow.
Not over collateralized, but at full market value.
That's huge.
blows my mind. And the fact is, you're able to do it cross-chain. I just wanted to pull up the tweet as reference that they did message me back. They did let us know that, hey, this is cross-chain. And if you look at the results here, a lot of people are interested in using NFTs as a way to get collateral, because it brings a whole new DeFi strategy. Buying NFTs, using them as collateral, yield farming on stable coins, using that to pay off your loan. There's so many ways you can leverage your position with NFTs now.
Well, you look at, I mean, it's just a more robust and dynamic DeFi world. People have been doing that already with digital assets before NFTs. You go to Aave, pardon me, you can go to Aave or other networks, and based upon the value of the collateral that you had, you can get loans. So the fact that NFTs are on the blockchain and they are digital assets, they're just another contract, another version of a smart contract. It's like it was bound to happen, and seeing this being built through Wise Token, the Wise Token community, this is huge. I'm excited, and this is coming out. There's some things happening right around the corner next week. Is that right?
Yeah. So there's going to be a couple things that are going to be going on. I don't know everything that's going to be going on at this very moment, so there is still a lot of research I have to do, because I'm kind of spread out a little everywhere right now,
Mm-hmm.
with all the Wise Token news and all the all the bullish news around. It's sometimes it's hard to just stay informed in this space.
No,
That's true story.
it's a lot. It's a lot. That's what helps. Drop your comments if there's something that we missed or that you know. Feel free to share it with us. This is we all learn from each other, and it's a fast growing ecosystem. And there's too much information for anyone to soak up themselves. So it really helps us
It's mind-boggling.
to surround yourself with a beautiful community of people that help each other out. That's what this is. That's why I love hanging out with you guys every Monday and doing our weekly recap of the market and what's happening. And I can see that we're really just getting ready for a major bull market growth spurt in crypto and in blockchain over the next
We're gonna probably finish 2020 out strong. 2021 out pretty strong. I have a feeling.
Looking at the traditional finance, the institutions and onboarding, the increased gateways, the fiat gateways that we never could have dreamed of in
Looking at all the
2017.
money the Fed is printing and continues to print, and
Nations
suggests they're not going to
adopting
change.
cryptocurrency as
Right.
a legal tender or as a
The macro story couldn't be any better.
no.
Well, except for the regulatory clouds on the horizon, but that's okay.
But everyone who was behind crypto knew that was going to be something
Yeah.
that alongside. And if you read we've read the St. Louis Federal Reserve article on DeFi several months ago, and reading that, I mean, you're aware that there are people who know how this works in all vocations, right?
Right.
So, man, this week we covered a lot. There's definitely more to talk about with Wise Token and the NFT collateralized lending. So
As we learn more, we'll be sharing what we find. I
Yeah.
want to see how the interest rates are going to look and how they're going to price that.
One thing that I find really interesting.
wait, we got
is
this
that-
too.
Oh yeah, yep. Peter was talking about how they will have a way for you to choose your lockup time. So you can choose an infinite lockup time for something like, let's say, if you have a CryptoPunk worth $20, $30, $40, $50,000, and you just so happen to be a regular Joe who lucked into it and happened to get in early. Well, if you're interested in getting in early, please look at the DaVinci platform. Please. It is a NFT platform on the Harmony One network. They have amazing artists all throughout. This is where I've been spending a lot of my time, is actually talking with the artists from DaVinci, communicating with what they're trying to do with this platform. And it's super interesting because they've got people from all over. They've got the lead animator from Rick and Morty. They have
Really?
street artists from Venezuela who, it blows my mind. The
That's
people
cool,
around
man.
the world who
And
are
Harmony
working
And Harmony One is not an Ethereum fork, by the way. It's actually a complete, scalable, and original smart contract platform that's been extremely successful in the market over the last year. Didn't mean to interrupt. Keep going, brother.
But
Yeah, I'm gonna have to look on this website. This looks awesome.
Yeah.
One of the things that I will mention, and this is just a pro tip, if you're trying to get a Bored Ape Yacht Club, look at this platform. They had several Bored Ape Yacht Clubs dropping from an artist collective called Crypto Bunny. And the interesting thing is, Crypto Bunny happens to be a validator. So if you want, you can actually validate with them, support them that way. Or if you like airdrops and you don't mind providing liquidity, they have the on Viper Swap, you can make a pool of 1 tokens and a pool of NFT tokens, and you have the chance every single week to win a free NFT from their collective. That's free. That's free assets.
That's awesome. Very cool.
It's so amazing to get in on these projects at the ground level as they're evolving and developing, because they notice their ecosystem growing and they want to give back. Every little blockchain technology that's out there, from all the way back when Ethereum was mineable on graphics cards, and that was the big thing that people were doing. Mm-hmm. Everyone starts somewhere, so just get started.
I think this is a beautiful way to wrap it up, gentlemen. On the Power Hour, we did pretty well, just a few minutes over, and how to end it on Harmony, Da Vinci, art,
NFTs,
Harmony, NFTs, a beautiful place, airdrops. That's great news, Jacob. I mean, if you really, there's free money literally in cryptocurrency just by becoming involved in projects. If you become involved in support projects just by becoming a member and supporting early on, they do benefit those early supporters. They do drop, they look at your address, they monitor, and they say, hey, you know what, thank you for being a supporter, for providing liquidity, for adding value to the network. And value added is returned and appreciated by these communities. So definitely get involved, learn more, and just jump in and get your feet wet, because when the time passes, it's done. You know, you missed it. If only I could have gone back and used a bunch of different MetaMask addresses before I knew the Uniswap airdrop, right? If only. But you know, now I know that you can take your MetaMask wallet that you hold all of your ERC20s, and you can be ready to pick up a free airdrop on Pulsechain. That'd be like getting a free airdrop on Harmony One or on another network where you just have a version of that crypto asset automatically in your wallet. So that, and also providing liquidity. You said, where is it? It's on Viper Swap, right? Is that what you're talking about? Not through Da Vinci.
Yeah. No, not through Da Vinci, but if you go onto Viper Swap, the
yes.
2 tokens that you're going to want to hold is you're going to want to hold the NFT token, which you'll see the pool. The pool is NFT and 1. Mm-hmm. And if you follow Crypto Bunny on Twitter and fill out the Google form every single week, you're entered to win a free NFT just for being a liquidity provider.
Nice.
Now,
so that's really cool.
You're helping out the collective artists like Bored Ape Yacht Club, like all of the artists who have built this collective together. You're giving back to them in the same way they're giving back to you. And it's a great positive feedback loop.
Hey, do you think I just found a scam site? So ViperSwap.1 would be the exchange, right?
ViperSwap.1. That top one right there, ViperSwap.org.
No, that's got to be a scam, right?
Viper. Yeah, it's Viper.1/swap is what I have saved.
So then be very careful when going to these sites and make sure you're going to the right one. Viperswap.org. This could be a malicious front end, and I don't want to recommend going to that. I actually don't know which is the proper Viper swap of all these.
I actually have it saved on my my tabs, so I never have to remember. It's viperswap.1.
That's what I thought. That's what I thought.
That's
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
That's what I have. That's what I thought. No, because it's the one network. That I was pretty sure that's what it was. Viperswap.org seems fishy to me. I wouldn't touch it. But Viperswap.one, bada bing, bada boom. And on the pools,
Oh, you do have to connect the wallet to make it feel.
and I'm
That's
just
the
not
only thing.
I'm just not connected at the moment. So you'll just have to do this on your own with the connected wallet. Maybe that's why I was having problems on the Pulsechain earlier. But
Oh, that could be.
well, until then, I guess on the next one, namaste. Thank you for your time. Have a beautiful day. Don't forget, feel free to drop some knowledge bombs. We love learning from others and give us something to talk about on the next stream, whatever we
Some
find.
likes, some
Yeah,
comments.
likes, subscribes, comments, and what else you guys have to say on the way out on this beautiful Monday?
Well, we're gonna do a podcast tomorrow with Devin.
That's
and,
right.
Specificknowledge.net if you want to follow that.
I've been loving those podcasts, man.
Oh, nice.
I just got my picture in. I'll have a little bio write up for Devin pretty soon, so it should be ready by tomorrow. But it's not going to look as sharp as that. Look at Devin, man. Dang, man. That's
Good-looking man
professional.
right there.
God dang. I just copy and paste that, you know. So yeah, we've got 3 out, and hey, I don't know who. I know who had the best crypto picks, fantasy draft picks. That's me. I should just vote right now.
Right.
So there we go. Add that to the poll. But yeah, we have a little pick going on here. So that'll be interesting to see how that plays out. I don't know if we can eventually kind of get a live value chart of how they're competing.
Cool.
Yeah,
tracking it,
tracking them all, adding it all together to see the total. But we've got a few out so far. So yeah, check us out, specifickknowledge.net. Every Tuesday, we got our live streams here. We got more videos. We're working on our website. More videos we'll be pumping out. Be sure, subscribe, because we're going to keep you up to date on airdrops. We'll keep you up to date on the latest technological developments in crypto and blockchain. And we'll be learning from you as well. So again, thank you very much. We really appreciate your time and energy and knowledge too. I'm going to say again, thank you. Have a beautiful day. And until the next time, namaste, y'all.
Adios.
Later.
That was a good